Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 7th episode for The Walking Dead Season 8, as well as the 4th season for Fear the Walking Dead. In this one first, we're going to give our thoughts on whether or not we think Morgan, Lennie James, can save Fear the Walking Dead. Somebody save me. And spoiler warning if you guys are not cut up for The Walking Dead. So I thought this was a good one to start with for today, which is to just kind of give our thoughts generally on how we think this is going to affect Fear the Walking Dead. Is this going to actually kind of turn Fear the Walking Dead around? So if you guys don't know, Fear the Walking Dead, since its first season, has kind of been, I want to say, struggling, at least as far as viewership goes. You know, AMC has tried a number of different things with it. I think they've been smart to avoid, airing on the same nights as shows like Game of Thrones last summer. And, even prior, they've kind of had some pretty good timing, I think, with when they've released it. They released a few seasons in kind of a couple years. So you had like the first season, which was 6 episodes prior to The Walking Dead season 6. Is that right? I'm going off by memory here. And then we had to kind of come back for the second season in between. And then we had The Walking Dead season 7. And then we had to come back again for season 3. And then we have The Walking Dead starting with season 8. So you have a few seasons of Fear in roughly, 2.5 years or so far. Since the start of the show, the show's peak for Fear was at the very beginning. It was at the premiere episode where Fear the Walking Dead did its best. It got around 10 million US viewers, which is pretty much on par with Walking Dead. I mean, that was more than Walking Dead is getting right now. Walking Dead right now is getting like, 8 point something. Comparable to 10. So Fear's premiere episode was hotter than The Walking Dead is right now in terms of its regular episodes, which I do think will kind of turn around. I think the mid-season finale and stuff should do better for The Walking Dead. Big episodes, premieres, mid-season finale generally do better. But the fact that Fear's big premiere did actually better than The Walking Dead's regular episodes doing right now is kind of crazy to think about in just a couple years, that much of a change for Walking Dead. But since then, since the premiere for Fear the Walking Dead, after the first season, it just ticked down further. You can look at the wiki if you want to. Just type in Fear the Walking Dead on Google, episode guide wiki, and you'll be able to see, where how the show is doing. And even though I want to say the third season for Fear was off the charts for Fear. I mean, comparing it to the first 2 seasons, I really felt like season 3 of Fear can stand up to some of the best seasons of The Walking Dead and really at least be in the conversation to compare the two and say, wow, this season of Fear was really hot. You could say the season of Fear might have been better than certain seasons of The Walking Dead, for sure. So they did a great job in season 3. I think they killed off a ton of characters. They had tons of different storylines happening. You had different villains come in. You had a nice twist at the mid-season finale. You had the second half with just very fast pacing, almost too fast sometimes, which generally is better than too slow. You had some great character episodes, such as the one with Alicia near the end there of season 3. And then you had pretty good season 3 finale, I want to say, with even a herd coming through as part of it. They did a lot in season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead. You can really tell that they tried hard. I mean, a pretty epic conclusion with big explosions and stuff. Michael Bay explosions and fireworks and whatever else you want to have. So they did a damn job, I think, for Fear Season 3 compared to the first 2 seasons. And still, even still, as good as it was, the ratings did not represent that being true. The ratings showed that it consistently just down and down and down. So we know that the showrunner for Fear, Dave Erickson, who did the first 3 seasons, has handed off the show now. He's finished with the show, so Fear is probably going to feel a lot different. You have new showrunners. You have Scott Gimple as executive producer now, where he, I think, was totally uninvolved with Fear before, so far as I can remember. Like, he just hands off. He had nothing to do with it. He was just the Walking Dead guy. Fear the Walking Dead was handled by a totally separate team. So now you have some crossover. You have him coming into Fear as EP, and then you have Lennie James, of course, who's been announced as Morgan, coming in as pretty much the biggest star in Fear, I want to say. Now, no offense to Madison, or Alicia, or any of the other, Nicholas, or any of the other big characters from Fear, but you're taking a character that's had, 8 seasons or 7.5 seasons for Walking Dead. He wasn't in all of them, but he's existed in that universe that amount of time. He was in the pilot episode and did a great great job in the pilot. So he's a huge character. He's probably bigger than any character in Fear is at this point because he just had more time. And, he's been in this huge series, the original series. So to have him cross over to the other series, I think is a really, really great idea for Fear. I really like what AMC is doing here with this one, and I'm really happy they decided to kind of go back on their word. Dave Erickson has said that as far as he knew, there was not going to be any kind of crossover or anything like that. Now, whether or not that's true or not is kind of hard to say. Was he setting this group up to maybe be, go on that Whisperer path? I don't know. Madison certainly looks sometimes like she's very Alpha-esque, but we're going to have to see how that goes. It's really hard to say. But he said that it basically they were separate. As far as he knew, it wasn't going to cross. We weren't going to see this kind of thing. Now we're seeing that. Now we're seeing the shows cross. We're seeing Scott come in. We're seeing Lennie come in. And, right now, currently are actually working on Fear the Walking Dead. Or definitely Lennie is, for sure. So this is pretty big for Fear the Walking Dead. I want to say, if this doesn't save Fear, probably nothing will. And I don't know, see, this is all private, so we don't know. Sometimes if there's lawsuits, then some stuff has to be shown to the public. Bodies being thrown around and stuff like this. So if stuff's made public, you guys haven't seen my Frank Darabont lawsuit videos, you got to watch them. They're some of the most fun stuff to talk about for Walking Dead that there is. Some of the stuff he said before they had to let him go. But this stuff is all private, so we don't know, if what kind of budget they get for Fear, we don't know. With season 3, it looked like it was pretty good, though. It looked like it was a pretty good sized budget. Probably comparable to what The Walking Dead has. Maybe not as much, but probably pretty good. They're blowing stuff up. They got all this stuff going on. It's expensive stuff, and they did a good job of it. So I'm sure the budget is something for Fear. I'm sure it's more now than it was in season 1 and than it was in maybe some of the early seasons of Walking Dead, like Walking Dead season 2, maybe the first season. The budget for Fear is probably bigger than that, and they're doing 16 episodes, so it's quite a bit. So with that budget, based on a couple million viewers per episode versus The Walking Dead, which is getting like over 8 consistently, it comes to the question, is it profitable for AMC to continue doing Fear? Does it make sense for them to continue doing Fear? What does the future look like for Fear? Is it going to be more profitable in the future to do? Is it dying? These are questions that, unfortunately, we can't say. All we can say is we look at it. It's probably, more expensive than a lot of shows to do. There's something there, even though the actors and actresses in it probably aren't that expensive. Like, they've been, you've got... they've been in a lot of movies, that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to beat up on the cast and crew involved with Fear. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I'm trying to say that you don't have like as many people on the payroll, I think, for Fear as you do for the original series. And I'm sure the original series, like Andrew Lincoln, and probably gets paid more than anybody on Fear. Like their budget is obviously, I would think, should be higher. But based on who's in Fear, what they're doing with Fear, everything that all the costs that go into making it, it's really hard to say from an outside perspective without those numbers, without able to see the numbers, whether or not Fear makes sense to continue to do. They seem like to say they're going to continue on Fear, indefinitely. But what if Fear ever got down from 2 to 1? If it ever got less than 1 million views. Now it's kind of tricky. It's kind of like, I don't know if we should keep doing this show. Maybe we should just cancel it after a year or something and just focus everything in the original Walking Dead. So, I do have some fears for Fear. I do think that if it dies any more over the next couple years, it might be in cancellation territory. Maybe it gets 5, 6 seasons and they wrap it out. But if they do this crossover, which they are, they're going ahead with this, I do think it could really breathe some new life into Fear, and it can capture more of that original Walking Dead audience and cross them over to Fear. For some reason, I don't know why, I don't know if it's the feel of Fear being different. Fear has not, it's done okay, but it hasn't captured that much of the original Walking Dead audience. If you look at Walking Dead getting around like 8 US, 8.5, 9 US, somewhere around there, and you look at Fear getting around 2, 2.5, you're looking at like, let's say a quarter. Let's just round this approximately. You're getting approximately like a quarter of the amount of viewers of that audience for Fear as you're getting for the original Walking Dead. So you're only getting 1 out of 4 people that's like, I'm a Walking Dead fan and I also like Fear. 3 out of 4 are saying we don't like Fear. We're not going to watch it. We're not going to bother. bringing him in, I got to think maybe you can capture another quarter. Is that too much for one actor? Maybe not quite, but maybe you'll get a little bit of boost. Maybe you can get it up to 3 million or maybe 4 for some of the episodes for the hardcore fans. Like half of the fans that watch the original show are going to be like, oh, I want to see Morgan. As long as they promo it properly, which means when the Walking Dead Season 8 is ending, we know the premiere date for Fear. AMC, tell us the premiere date ahead of time if you can. If you can swing it, let us know at the end of Walking Dead when we can expect Fear. Promo it properly. Let everybody know Lennie James. And I think they're doing a pretty good job of this online stuff. I've seen some stuff like Lennie James's first day of filming. You can watch that and that kind of thing. And they put the Talking Dead interview with him on there. So they're so far so good. The end of the season, they really got to promo the hell out of it, letting people know that if you want to see more of Morgan, you got to watch Fear so you can see the rest of his journey or story. And really just do that to try to capture that audience, get them into Fear, and get them going through. So that's what needs to happen. We'll see if it works. I think it's a great thing for Fear. I think Lennie Morgan can at least help Fear. I've heard a lot of people in comments saying, Trev, I haven't been watching Fear for a while. Do you think I should get caught up so that when Morgan comes in, I can understand? It's like, yeah, you should. You should get caught up. They'll probably do a bunch of, those usual marathons where they go through and they show like every episode in a couple days or something before season 4 of Fear starts. Maybe do some, flashback showings of Clear and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that, they need to do to kind of set this up properly. But if they do it properly, I think it can help Fear out. It can get Fear into a good state where it'll probably get at least a few more seasons. And I do think overall this is a really good thing for Fear, because as good as that show is standing on its own with season 3, the results didn't reflect, I feel like, how good season 3 was. You just didn't see that kind of interest for season 3 of Fear. And if they want to continue it on for a few more years, I'm glad they're going back on their idea, which is not to cross over at all and keep them separate, where it's like, hey, wait a minute, we have an opportunity here to help pump up Fear a little bit, get it going a little bit more, and maybe people can make that a part of their habit to check Fear out during the summer when the regular Walking Dead isn't on. So I think it's a great thing they're bringing Lennie James across. Morgan's going to be in Fear, whether it's a prequel type of situation, whether it's a sequel. That would be weird, but we'll see. Whatever they do, though, I think it's going to get more of that original Walking Dead audience to check out Fear, and I think it's going to help Fear, at least get, season 5, at least get it to season 5, season 6, and then we'll have to see after that what they want to do if, hopefully the viewers stay up at least at maybe 3 or 2.5 million minimum, I think. Otherwise, we might be looking at close to cancellation territory. So we'll see. Anyway, those are kind of my thoughts. I guess we'll end it here for today's video, guys. We'll just focus that one on that, and tomorrow we'll get back with regular Q&A for The Walking Dead, the regular stuff. But it's great though, like if you look at already the buzz, right? Even this week I've been doing more videos for this for Fear, really, because of this news than I have for the original Walking Dead by itself, right? Because it is big news, and a lot of people are getting excited about it, and a lot of people want to see more of Morgan, and this is a way for them to do that and kind of get more episodes of The Walking Dead in this way. And I'm also expecting the feel of Fear to be a little bit closer to The Walking Dead because of these things that they're doing in it. And I would think that Scott Gable's executive producer will also help to kind of get that theme more similar to Walking Dead than Fear has been, which sometimes, especially season 1, I want to say felt very different, which can be good, but you want a little bit different, but you want a little bit of familiarity too. That's where people, not too far out of the comfort zone, a little bit in the comfort zone, but different enough to the sweet spot, the Goldilocks zone, so to speak. That'll be it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, please thumb it up below. Let me know what you think about Lennie James, Morgan coming to Fear. Do you think it's going to help? Do you think it will promo the series even more and help Fear survive for at least a couple more seasons? Write your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, please don't forget, thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, I would appreciate it, and you can do it at the bottom left. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you again soon. It's Trev saying peace. Later, guys. See ya. Just subscribe somehow.